Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm ShuaiShuai. You can call me Anna. I'm from Beijing Children's Legal Aid and Research Center. And it has been a great honor for me to be here. And in the past time, I have learned a lot from all the speakers and even the audience. It gives me a very different perspective to see these problems. And yesterday I was moderating a panel about the cyber crimes and sexual and online child exploitation, which is more about the harm that internet brought to children, and it is also a little bit sad. But today, when I got the topic, I was a little relieved and much happier, because the word future in some way is quite similar to the word children, because to me, future and children also means hope. Although there are many, there might be many difficulties or obstacles on the way, but we all know for sure that it is going to a better direction. So I can't wait to hear what our panelists are going to talk about at this panel. But before, please allow me to introduce our panelists. Please forgive me if I'm not pronouncing properly. Dooshka Samputh from Medscheme, and Ms. Sidharta from AVR Plato Technology Limited, and Mr. Tabi Okorne-Tabi from Halley Movement. And please give some big applause to our panelists. And the panelists, would it be okay that you do a brief introduction about yourself first and then proceed on your topic? And also, please try to keep it within 15 minutes, and so that we could have some minutes for the Q&As. Okay? Thank you very much. Less than 15 minutes. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. We'll keep it very short. I'm Dooshka Samputh from Medscheme, and I'm an IT analyst, and I form part of the team at the company who takes part in various projects where technological advances and digital integration is involved. So at Medscheme, we have adopted many digital solutions to connect ourselves better to the client, and to connect to our international clients over our head office. And we have adopted these methods to be able to give a better service. To talk a bit about Medscheme, Medscheme is the leading health insurance and protection administrator of the island for over 37 years now, and we administer over 60,000 lives. It is a pioneer in introducing various digital solutions on the local market. And to just name a few, we have web-based portals at the company where our clients can connect to our platforms to submit their claims, to view their real-time information. They can even submit their claims through our mobile application, which we call the Snap and Send, that you just take a picture of your claim and send it over to us, and it is processed within a few days. And we have tried to replace the traditional methods of making a claim by digital ones, so that it's easier and we give a faster service to our client, because at the end of the day, it's the better service, it's what attracts more clients. We have other solutions like our web-based portals, again, which is an extension of the mobile application, where we give access to our clients to view their information, their covers, to download their claim forms, and to be able to talk to us via complaints or any suggestions. We also connect to our, we can say, clients all over Africa. We are present now in about 14 countries of Africa, and our company is a South African company. And we use video conferencing services to connect to our clients or even head office to make faster decisions and to save travel time. And that's all a bit about Medscheme, and we continue to advance in that way and to be able to keep up the trend with technology. we are adopting all these, and also, if we talk about the security aspect, we are an ISO 271 certified company, where every year our processes are audited and renewed, the certificate is renewed so that we ensure that the security protocols are being put in place. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Tabi Okorne-Tabi. Sorry, it was not rightly spelled, so Tabi Okorne-Tabi. I'm an IT professional. I know some people think I'm a member of the press, but no, I'm not a journalist, none of that. I'm an IT professional. I think Mr. Bosco just found out that I talk a lot, so he was like, okay, let's put your voice to good use. Well, I'm actually a master's student doing my master's in Business Information Systems Management. Also a co-founder of an IT company which is based operating in Mauritius and also in sub-Saharan Africa. I am a software developer and a professional in digital marketing. That's what I do for companies as well here in Mauritius. So that's a brief overview of who I am. And then what I'm going to be doing here for this discussion, I'm going to be talking about Alone on a Digital Highway. That's highlighting the need for digital parenting in a technologically aware Mauritian society. So I'm going to be speaking from a digital marketing point of view and from an IT point of view in this particular panel, trying to draw our attention to why it is necessary for parents to get involved in the digital lives of their children, to make parents understand that your child might be present in your home, but they have already packed and they're living online. Their clothes are online, their watches are online, their shoes are online, everything about them is online, and that's where they live. So if you want to make sure that your children have the life that you wish for them to have, you also have to move online. You have to find your own house there, you open your house address, you put yourself there and make sure that you monitor your children. Like one of the speakers said, it's not about being big brother, but as parents, we always have to be parents. We have to be there for our kids, and the best what we're here to talk about is how am I going to be a parent in an age like this, where my child does not feel I'm being intrusive, but I make sure that they are also safe while online. So I hope that we'll have a good discussion with that. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sidharta. Everyone knows me by Sid, so I guess that's easier. I'm the co-founder of ShuaiShuai Mauritius, a regional organization that promotes the environmental protection in Mauritius and in all Indian Ocean island and regional island. What I do is advocate for children's rights and responsibility also. So I do a lot of advocacy for how children should be learning about their rights, also their responsibilities, because at the same time, while promoting rights in Mauritius, we forget about responsibilities of those children. In large part, I'll be talking about impact of social media on children, and the important part of that would be to really assess how children are evolving and how our disease of addiction is being accelerated through our dependency on technology, but also in large part how our children are becoming more and more addicted to social media, and also making sure that we understand how as parents we can reach out to those children and make sure that, as Abby has said, make sure that we understand them, they understand us, and it is a two-way traffic, and we have a middle ground in between.
Thank you very much. I want to ask if there are any questions from the audience or now I'm going to ask a few questions if you don't mind. Okay. I'd like to know what, you all talk about your work and how technology helped to do it. And I was wondering if there is a long-term negative effect of social media on children that we might not notice in girls. Please, if you want to, to address that.
Yeah, if I could talk about that. I know when we talk about the internet, what we are primarily talking about, we center our attention, focus our attention on the harm that other people can cause to us. For instance, for the child, we've been discussing about how is the child vulnerable online? How are they going to be vulnerable to exploitation by miscreants that are online? But what we do not understand is there are these technologies that help the child, or negatively, so the child becomes their own predator. And they're the prey. We want to put it that way, and we want to take the technology off the bad image. The reason why I'm saying this is there's a negative effect that you as a parent might not notice. And so it causes a drift in the psychology of the child that physically as a parent you might not notice at that point in time. If you understand from a psychological point of view, you realize that children, or man in general, is made by nature or nurture. By nature, it means that if my father is Nigerian and black, I'm not going to look Caucasian. I'm definitely going to be black. If my parents, both parents are black, that's what I'm going to be. If I grew up in a family where both parents are very tall, if you check my DNA, it's going to show that, I'm not saying that I'm very tall, people taller than me, you know? So that's just a joke in between, but that's for nature. But for nurture, it means that if I grew up in a family where everyone is quiet, I'm most likely going to be a child that is quiet. If I grow up in a conservative community, I'm most likely going to be conservative. Because what bringing up children by nurture does is you're teaching them. That's why a great philosopher once said, he said, give me a child and I can make them either a thief or a medical doctor. I can make them the villain or the superhero. Because the child is a tabula rasa. And whatever you put in that child is what that child becomes in future, if not by intervention by some other forces, if we believe in that. And so, with that premise being laid, you understand that we find ourselves in a society where parents are beginning to lose that contact with their kids. There was a time where we held teachers responsible for what our kids became. So because you say your kid spends this number of hours in school, and so you pick the best school for your child to go to because you believe that school is going to be responsible for a great percentage of your child's nurturing. You're spending just a little amount of that during holidays and all that, and you want to be part of that. But guess what? There's another institution that most parents are not aware of, and that's the online institution, where most kids even take their phones to school. So they are being schooled online while they're in school. And while they're at home with you, they're also being schooled at home while they're with you. And so your child is not talking to you, but is talking to people online. Your child is in class and they're sneaking their phones, they're talking to people online. And that now becomes the nurture upbringing that they're going through. So it's psychological. Now I'm going to talk from a technological point of view and maybe from business as well. You understand that we all know the likes and the love signs that we find on, or retweets on Twitter and all that. Most people do not understand the technology behind it and why it was made. Well, it might have been made to show that you have friends and there are people close to you, and for people to show that they're supporting you. But what happens when there's nobody supporting you? I'll tell you a story. There was once we were about to take a picture. We were going to Hong Kong. We went to Hong Kong for a particular project and we came back and we wanted to take a picture. And one of the young ladies, she was like, no, Tabi, come this way, I need to be that way. And I was like, why do you need to? She said, no, this is my beautiful side and I'm not going to get enough lights if I stand this way. And I was like, oh, please, come and have your beautiful side. But you see, what that does is, we have a community online that it now works on the psychology of the person. You see, then if I could have a bad day if I relate with you physically and you do something wrong to me, and then I have a bad day all through. But nowadays, I might not have spoken with anybody that has said something wrong to me, but I go online, I post a picture. Let's say I just wake up in the morning, I'm looking so nice, and then I post a picture and nobody likes it. I have a bad day. That's it. I have a bad day, and every five minutes I'm looking at my phone. How many likes do I have? How many likes do I have? And I don't have enough likes. I refresh my internet. You see, these are tendencies that we do not pay attention to. Now we have to note this when we talk from a technological point of view, and we have to note this, that these companies are also there to make profit as well. If you're working in your company, let's not hide the fact that they have to make profit. And how do they make profit? The platforms are free. You're not paying to be on the platforms, but what are you paying with? You're paying with your time. So they'll always do things to keep you on the platform, and so that's just a preamble, and so we'll discuss further, but just maybe to raise questions from there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Also, there are beauty cameras in China, very popular, so you can have other side. Yeah. And also, the children today are known as digital natives because they are born in a society where internet is so popular. And I don't know the situation in Africa, but in China there are children who do not have access to internet. They are kind of left behind children in this digital world. I would like to know what, as a technology company or as a company related to technology, what are your strategies to address to the children like that who do not have enough access to internet? How do you help them to fill in the gap between other children?
When we look at things, the way it is going, so we find that children have a tendency to cling onto their phone, as you said, always bring the phone with them at school. And there are some kids who don't even have the luxury of having a smartphone. So the psychology behind would be that they would feel disprivileged towards as compared to other people. But at the same time, when we speak of the psychology of the child, we're changing. We are moving towards a society which is clinging on to technology. Mr. Vikash said something earlier where everything is becoming a touchscreen. Everything is becoming, it is normalizing the way we see the world around us, which is scary at the same time because the human touch has been lost along the way. So how can we connect to people instead of viewing them as, an object, a means to have likes on Facebook, a means to have reaction on Facebook, because having a photo click with a popular figure would mean more like on Facebook, so more validation at the same time. And when children who do not have access to those kind of technologies, those kind of smartphone, or even access to basic internet, even good internet access, it would mean that they would feel disprivileged in so many ways. And society, how it goes, it tends to put you down whether you like it or not. So if you don't have proper access to those, you would be feeling a lot lesser than people. So this makes children grow up with a lot of insecurities, a lot of social anxiety, and grows onto the mental welfare of the child. So how do we compensate that? How do we make sure that those children are growing up? So in many ways, while technology seeped into our life, we lost our childhood in between, because as grown-ups, so most of us have a smartphone, but we've lived our childhood. We've played with mud, we've been in the rain, so we've done that bit. But do our child do that? Does our child even go out? Do they bother to look up the sky and see the stars, or watch the cloud forming into a shape that is bizarre, or having their imagination run wild? Do they do that? I don't think so, because at the same time, while we are promoting information online, technology, so more and more knowledge-based content online, we've lost the basic knowledge that is imagination. Let the child be creative, let the child explore on its own. As a parent, I think what most are doing right now is letting the child play with a tablet, putting it on kid mode, and just, I need free time, so let my kid play on the tablet and I'll be off on my own smartphone. So the child learned, for example, they observe, they watch their parents use their tablet, use their smartphone. So they would be interested in reading a book, they would be interested in playing on the tablet. So that addiction would make the child more and more cling on. So we haven't been at the stage where we can actually assess the impact of technology on our children, because they are growing up now. So we are still assessing how those exposure to technology would influence the child, because now when they're growing up, we see that more and more teenagers are violent, more and more teenagers have tendency to stick on the phone, always their head down, looking for validation online, likes or reaction on Facebook. They even are implementing a school of memes. So to what extent do we promote technology? To what extent do we penalize those kids that are underprivileged?
Okay, thank you very much. And I would like to ask another question on behalf of the parents present to ladies who might be having children. And I would like to ask, what is your parenting skills to maximize the bright side of internet, of social media on your children, and to minimize the bad influence of that? Do you have any suggestions for the parents here?
So I'm not a parent myself, but I guess I'll let
I'm also not a parent, but I do have nephews and nieces, and I see in our daily lives how they are actually addicted to it. And we try and make sure as a family, like someone earlier said, that it's also the responsibility of the family and the parent to take care of what their children are doing over the internet. Really, children nowadays tend to play games or stay with their phone instead of going out and playing. So maybe it's our responsibility as adults and parents out there and family to maybe detach them from this addiction. Try and be more present, try and be more present in their lives, maybe like all the days, play with them, talk to them, have conversation, so that at the end of the day they are not addicted. Because why are they addicted? Is because they don't have anything else to do. We tell them not to go out on the streets because it's dangerous nowadays. It's not like in our times we were playing on the streets and nobody even cared that because it was safe. Nowadays it's not safe. So we ourselves are discouraging them from going outside and playing and meeting people, and we are giving them phones. Okay, play, sit down quietly, don't disturb. When somebody is coming, don't talk. But it's our responsibility to balance that. Yes, okay, you need to know what's happening around, you need to know what's the latest technologies, it cannot be done also, but balance that and give them time, converse with them, understand what is happening in their lives. And along with the technology, we have to grow, but this balance is very important, and this is our responsibility, a family's responsibility.
Thank you very much. Would you like to add something?
If I get not really that. I can say I'm a parent, not like I have any kids, but my sisters have a whole lot of kids. I have a lot of them, so sometimes I like to feel like I'm a parent, because I'm responsible for them. So, what I would say is, we had an analogy from Mr. Kenan, and he said something that there must have been a forum like this about cars, when cars were just invented. And we understand that there's an age limit that you have to get to before you receive your driver's license and you can drive. And even when you do that, your parents will be with you. It will interest you to know that when Steve Jobs was around, you could call him the father of the smartphone. He didn't allow his kids to make use of the smartphone. And it's also going to interest you to know that most Silicon Valley CEOs and programmers do not allow their kids to use smartphones. It will also interest you to know that the young man who is one of the highest paid designers and is responsible for the whole color schemes you see in most of these technologies does not make use of a smartphone that has color on it. So its smartphone is all monochrome, black and white, and so there's no color. And he's also the inventor. When there's something that's called the self-refilling bowl. So you have a bowl of soup and it refills from under it. It's a therapy used for people that do not eat a lot. So if the bowl is being refilled from under and you're eating, you do not know when you'll be eating for close to 20 minutes and you're still eating because the food has not gone down. Now that's the same thing that he translated to the mobile, to the smartphone, whereby you're on social media and you're scrolling up, 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 so it refreshes from under and it has no end. And it can take 2 hours of your time because they need you to spend more time so you can see ads and they can charge those companies for the money that they have paid for those ads. So what I'm trying to say is this: there has to be an age limit for kids. We do not have to give our kids, look, there's no best way for you to parent. The internet has so many things that you cannot control. You give a child a phone for 5 minutes, you don't know where they have gone to, and come back to the screen that you give it to them. So what our advice is, for the kids that are very little, we should put our feet on the floor and say, if the guy that made this technology is not letting his kids use this technology, I too have a responsibility to control my kids not to use this technology, no matter how hard they cry. And we should look for technologies that point them towards learning. So if you're going to buy a phone, make sure that you scrape out all other applications on that phone and you install applications that point towards learning for that particular child. Else, if you say, okay, I'm going to let them do what they want to do, but I'll check up on them, sorry, you are not going to be very efficient, because you have to pay their fees, you have to pay the bills, so you have to work. And that's time that you'll be looking away and they'll be doing a whole lot of other things.
Just the last thing. Deleting history is the first thing kids learn to do. So that's the main issue, whether we are leaving our child with a tablet or any kind of phone or laptop. The deleting history is the first thing. So you would let everyone know what they've been researching on, what they've been looking at, and kids are smart. They learn how to, find loopholes and go around it. So they would find ways to trick you, and that's where your parenting skills will be tested, because kids are like that. They would push you and see where you will break, and that's when you need to be really firm and make sure that you make your kids spend at least only 1 hour on their tablet, because research has shown that a kid between the age of 1 to 5 need not be on the tablet more than 1 hour per day. And what we are doing at the present time is leaving our kids 24 hours if need be with the tablet. So this is creating a lot of damage to our children, to our families, and to our society.
Also, just to add something briefly, when you give, most of us, we are adults, and you say, my kid is 5 years, so I can't buy a smartphone for him, so I'm going to give him my smartphone, but I'm just going to make sure that he does one thing, play games. If I give him my smartphone, guess what? Your smartphone is recognized by every company that you've signed in out there as an adult phone. It's not recognized as a kid's phone. It's recognized as there's what we call a digital footprint. Wherever you have been, there's a footprint that you have and you leave. That's how you could also track people that are committing crime online. So you give your phone to a child, and guess what interests them the most? Games, right? And your child does not have enough money to pay for a game. And for games that you do not pay for, they have ads on them. So free games come with ads. I know parents don't know this. They say, oh, he's just playing a game. But in those games, they'll have ads. And those ads are paid for. And because your mobile footprint says that that device is owned by an adult, most of those ads would not be ads for kids. And from the game, your child moves to another application, which might also be a game but for adults. And so you hear gaming sounds and you're like, my child is playing a game. Guess what? You don't like the game your child is playing at that point. So these are things that we have to take cognizance of when we're talking. And there are things like parenting softwares, nanny softwares. That's why if your child must use a technological device, I'd advise personally that they have their own device. You register it with those restrictions so that their digital footprint shows that it's a child and certain contents are not exposed to them.
Okay, I knew there are some cell phone manufacturers who are trying to produce this child-friendly cell phone. And it has, contains many child-friendly apps that only the children would only access to certain websites or content of the internet. And also a little tip, the Internet Communication Unit have published guidelines on for parents and caregivers and teachers for online child protection, and it has a lot of very practical advices. And if you are interested, you can look that up. Yeah, I think it might be help in parenting. And is there any other questions from our audience for the?
It's not a question, but I would like to add something to the discussion. Thank you very much. I'm Shamir, so I'm the CEO of AVR Plato. And given that the discussion is about the digital future and education and children, the fact is we all know that everything is going to become digital in the future. We like it or not, we deny it or not, that's going to be the future. Our children is going to be part of it, we are going to be part of it. But it is also our responsibility as parents to understand that given that technology is moving ahead, as our speaker have mentioned, that we tend to just let it go and give our children the liberty to go around with it. I myself am not a parent, sorry. I have nephews and niece. And one of my, I like to say, I like to be around kids. I like to be around children because you get to relive your childhood with them, but also understand how the generation is changing. And we have grown in a different generation. As mentioned, we were grown in a generation that used to play outside. The generation now are inside. You have to kick them out to tell them go out and go with your friends. This is the generation that we are part of. But why is it the fact that they are inside? It's because we have brought the world outside into them. So they don't have to go outside. They can sit in home and watch a video about anything happening in the world. So why would they go outside? Even you want to learn how to do mountain trekking, just go on YouTube, look at how to do mountain trekking. That's it. And you can say someone, you know, yesterday I climbed a mountain. Really? Yeah, I watched a video on YouTube and it happened. So the fundamental problem here is we as adults, we haven't grown in the same aspect as them. So we need to understand that we have to get in the technology that they are currently using. And my company, we are working on an education platform. And the one aspect that we look at is to really understand that what we are bringing in is not going to be something that is going to limit the imagination, but enhance the imagination. So in making so, we have to be ourselves responsible from today, when we go home, that we take the responsibility, if we have a niece, to go and see what the niece likes, what cartoon they watch. I do it myself. I have a niece, she watches Frozen. I don't know if you watch Frozen. Anyone here? I've sat with my niece, I've watched in Frozen. I speak to her about the characters because that's what she likes. But we parents sometimes we say, I'm grown out of these things now. I can't waste my time of this because I have serious problem in the world. I have to pay bills, I have to pay rent, I have to do my work. And we tend to forget that these are the little things that shape our character today of who we are. We may forget, but all those small little cartoons, all those images, all those things, our childhood has made us who we are today. And to really understand the leaders of tomorrow, because they are our children, we need to understand what is shaping them today. And we need to get to that point. So my advice is, you as parents, you as any individual, have to get to that point where you know what is happening to your children and to work together so that there is a parallel between the technology that is coming up. So tomorrow if something, just Instagram comes with a new thing, you know it before your child. And you know why he's liking that, because this relates to something he likes. So I think we need to ourselves take the responsibility and move to that point so that when new technology comes in, we don't find it like an issue that is coming and is a hassle for our children. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
And one more line to what you said. I heard a line somewhere in a movie that with great power comes great responsibility. So we are giving giving power to our kids and to everyone around us. So it's our responsibility also to make sure that what we are providing is safe enough and balancing, as I said earlier, how we are living in the society.
Thank you very much. If there is no further questions, I'm going to close this panel. Let's once again give a big applause to our panelists.